think there'll be no disputing this, a very large football-looking, 6'1", 250-plus pound guy. So there's a little bit of craziness regarding that allegation, and some other allegation that some unknown person at his behest choked this person. There is no single allegation that he has done physical harm to anybody in this case that Your Honor is reviewing. He has not touched anybody. Regarding the terroristic threats, I don't really, I'm one that never even pleads the terroristic threats because they're virtually impossible to prove. I don't even know where that comes from. Is he a threat to the witnesses? The witnesses are all the people that were there that are part of his world. I will tell you from our preliminary investigation, this alleged victim is somebody that came into his life like within 1 day. We are told through our investigation there is not a paycheck from him to this person. This is a hanger-on, so to speak, that was new to this group that has no relationship whatsoever. The information here in the reports indicates that he is now living in upstate New York. And so he's out of the question. He has nothing to do with this. So the issue becomes, is he a threat to that person? I think that's just not even an issue, Your Honor. I brought his civil lawyer here. He's agreed to come here from Los Angeles to explain that there are at minimum 50 people that will immediately become unemployed if Mr. Williams is denied bond. This type of business survives from weekend to weekend. And that excludes, and his civil lawyer is here to answer any questions from the court, that excludes contractors. That includes concession stand employees, all of which will not earn pay if he stays in custody. So, Your Honor, it just doesn't seem to meet any of the criteria. It is an offense, Your Honor, that is bondable. You're not excluded from making bond by statute. We are prepared to meet any of the terms and conditions that the court sets, whatever, however extraordinary they are. We are here to meet those conditions.
Your Honor, as mentioned by counsel, this man moves around the country freely. Whether or not he employs other people should not be a factor in this. I think more of a factor would be the fact that he threatened this victim while he was being choked out and beaten with a bat, that if he were to tell anybody about this, that he would be killed, that his brain would be blown out, that his face would be cracked. And while he was being force acted in this way, false imprisonment includes being made to sit and be shaved of his beard in an apparent effort to demean him. Again, his injuries were severe enough that he left, went to New York City. The day after it happened, was hospitalized for a day with both internal and external injuries. Again, as counsel stated, at the behest of Katt Williams, I think it's appropriate to grant bond at this time. We can flesh it out further in the hearing should it be one scheduled. But it should not be done in the first appearance, simply making these arguments.
Your Honor,
I can flesh this out more fully if I need to. And I ask the court to not bond present.
Your Honor, if I can just add one point, and that is, I think counsel raises a really important fact, and that is that this is alleged to have occurred in the early morning hours of February 28th, and an arrest warrant was effectuated yesterday. If he's such a threat to this person, why has this person been untouched for 9 days now? Why has Mr. Williams not been a threat to this person for 9 days now? It took 9 days for this case to come to fruition. During that period of time, if Mr. Williams had a consciousness of guilt, he would be in Costa Rica. He's been nowhere. He has been in this community, Your Honor, for a year and a half. A year and a half he's been in this community, and other than the first incident that counsel referenced that he's out on bond of, he has been unheard of in this community. He has been in Hall County, not heard of. I think it is under circumstances to be set by this court, whatever they are, whatever the conditions are, he clearly by statute and by case law is eligible for some bond.
Mr. Phelan, a couple of questions. Would Mr. Williams be returning to the residence in Gainesville? Is that his primary residence?
That is his primary residence, Your Honor. His counsel is here from Los Angeles to tell the court that because he is so concerned about the employees that are involved, wherever the court wants him to establish residence in somewhere else in metropolitan Atlanta, they'll make arrangements within 24 hours for that. We've already looked into that. Whatever the courts, that we are really concerned about the impact this will have economically on so many people.
And does Mr. Williams engage in international travel?
At present, he does not, and he would be willing at this point to surrender his passport, Your Honor. We fleshed that out as well with civil counsel.
Okay.
The court needs real facts. I'm prepared to call the investigating.
I do not need more facts. I've been involved, just so some of you know, with the issuance of the warrants and the search warrants. I'm familiar, I think, with at least some of what's gone on or alleged to have gone on here. I have to treat Mr. Williams just like every other person that comes before me. This obviously is extremely unusual. I do note that with the warrants, they are serious charges, but they're not unusual terribly to the court. They are party to the crime of aggravated assault. I realize that Mr. Williams is not charged with actually striking or causing harm directly to the victim in this case. He has no prior felony conviction, and I don't certainly think he's going anywhere. I think he otherwise, as Mr. Fingling ordered, is eligible for bond as any other person would be in his circumstance. So I am going to set a bond for Mr. Williams today. Mr. Williams, I'm going to go over some of these conditions with you. If you have any questions, I want you to make sure you ask your attorney. Can you hear me okay on that side? I think you can.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to set a total bond in your case.
May I have input on that?
Excuse me?
That's the total bond.
Yes.
I asked for a minimum of $100,000 and to be posted with cash with the extensive conditions.
Mr. Fingling, anything in response to that?
Your Honor, I'm not opposed to the amount, but not a cash bond. I think that's just unfair. With due respect to counsel, I have great respect for counsel. I think that's looking at the individual, and I think that's just an unfair. If Your Honor wants to do an aggregate bond and let him be like the normal person and post bond to a commercial company, I have no objection.
The normal person doesn't
Okay.
travel.
All right.
throughout
Thank you,
the
gentlemen. I
country.
appreciate all that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm going to set an aggregate bond. It's a total bond. There will be some charges that are associated with it at the jail, Mr. Williams, but the total bond will be a $60,000 bond. I'm going to break it down by charges in just a few moments. Let me go over some of the conditions with you. The big conditions, obviously, are that you're going to have to post that bond through a professional bondsman. I'm also going to ask that you surrender your passport and that you waive any extradition from any other state or country back to Georgia to deal with these charges. I will also ask that you not possess or be in control of any weapons. You're not to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol. You're not to violate any local, state, or federal law while these charges are pending. No, until further court order, no contact with Mr. Dixon. Don't go within 100 yards of any residence or workplace that he occupies. I didn't have waiver extradition on that. And anything else you can think of now, Mr. Dara? Go ahead.
We request that any family members of Mr. Dixon be included in this no contact, directly or indirectly, by himself or through other parties, by any means of communication at all. That he also have no contact with the witnesses involved in this case, except maybe through his attorneys. That he, except through his attorneys, have no contact with any of the witnesses involved in this case, known now or known in the future.
Your Honor, if I can address that, these are a lot of these are
Hold on one second, Mr. Williams.
employees of his, and so we're now talking about unemployment for people that are mere witnesses in the case. I completely understand a stay away from victim, indirect or direct contact, and family, if we can just designate who those family members are. But to cause the unemployment of people is just uncalled for, Your Honor. He should be treated like anybody else. And these witnesses are people that are under his employ, and they should not be punished, and they should not go to the unemployment line because of this bond order.
Mr. Williams, no contact with any of Mr. Dick, I don't know who these people are, but any of contact with Mr. Dixon's family, no indirect or direct contact with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other questions about the bond conditions?
Eddie, we reviewed the possible bond conditions.
Okay.
He has
Do you
no-
have any questions at this time, Mr. Williams?
Your Honor, I hope your conditions include no use of drugs or alcohol.
Yes, I already included no drugs, alcohol, no weapons.
No
Okay,
firearms.
no firearms. All that's included. Well, you'll get a copy of the bond order in just a little bit, Mr. Williams. You should be able to post bond in a little bit. I want you to stay in touch with your lawyer, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, folks. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you, sir.
All right, I'll review that and just clean it up in a minute. Do I
We'll
have?
wait, Your Honor.
Well, you're good. I don't have a paper. Do I? Okay. Oh, here. Here, Mom. Here, Mom. Oh, do you hear that? I don't know. Are y'all, no, y'all can't leave. We're not quite done.
For still more?
I have one more. Y'all can't leave. Maybe.
Okay.
Just if you, I don't know how many people still need copies, but let me know in a minute. I'll make sure. She's already said last minute. He doesn't. Okay, wait. I don't need these. There's a, I guess I should add those. I don't know. No. For which one? We have it. I signed it. Do you want? We'll get you a copy. I have it. It's been filed in. I need, do you have the copy for? Oh, great. Okay. I lost your. Okay. Oh. So. Oh my gosh. Can we do that? No. Okay. All right, we're done. All right, we'll be done, Judy. You'll have to go tomorrow. Okay. Okay.